I'm going to be dismantling the Honda 404 carburetor today, and the tools that are needed are the Japanese JIS standard crosshead. It just makes life easier getting undone all these screws here. It's not the same as a Phillips, it's actually slightly deeper. This is a long, it is a Phillips unfortunately because I don't have a small enough one. It's I'll show you where that goes in later. It's a couple of screws that are tucked down inside which are hard to get at. Just a standard flathead screwdriver, small one, just to get into the tabs that need bending back. I've got some sockets. I need a 7 and an 8mm with a little handle, and I actually have a couple of dental probes, tooth probes, which I bought in a kit off eBay for next to nothing, or Amazon or whatever, and they're really good for prying out either little tiny grommets or the O-rings that may or may not need to come off. And I also need a pair of pliers as well, possibly. So that's what I'm going to use. So let's crack on. First thing I'm going to do is just whip out the float bowl screws and the top screws. Just as a point of interest, these are the parts that go are the spares, and I'll just probably identify them as I take them out. So that's the float bowl off. Right, I may have to have a little go at this later on because this is well stuck in. Yeah. Yeah, these are completely perished, so these will need taking out and cleaning, but I'll do that on the reassembly when I get back to do that. There we go. I'll need cleaning out. And we can see here this little butterfly. There's actually an elongation to this left hand side, and that just literally lifts off gently like that. Okay, so the next thing to do is to remove these floats, and to do that you need to push out this little pin here that runs down there, and for that again use my probe. You can just push that little thing out. Sometimes you need to tap them out if they're tight, but this one's not, and that just comes out there like that. And you can lift the floats out. Okay, so we can now remove this jet here, or idler jet I think this one is. And a new one of those is provided in the kit. That's the new one which will be going back in. Okay, be careful with this little thing here as this comes out. So that's got the, if I get a close up on that, full close up, that's got the spiky bit on, and that'll come out when I remove this screw. Again, these JIS screwdrivers fit these screws so much better than a Phillips or a crosshead. that's a little retainer, as you can see the shape of that to hold that in place, and then that comes out like that, and again that is a part that comes in the kit. Just got to be careful taking this little part out, this little needle. If that focuses, that's got the pointy bit that goes in, and then a little sharp bit there. Now there is actually a spring inside here as well. I'm not sure that spring comes as part of the kit, but I will find out in a second. Right, I've just opened the packaging up. In actual fact, that needle and the spring assembly and everything's all complete inside there, so I don't need to mention that anymore. It comes as part of the kit. But anyway, that bit done. Right, excuse me coughing. I haven't got the kung flu. Right, this bit needs to come out as well now. Sometimes these lift out, sometimes they need some gentle persuasion. This needs some gentle persuasion. On there, as you can see. And inside there is a jet that sometimes needs a bit of persuasion to come out. But on this occasion, again with this tool, that's out. This is actually the emulsion tube that I'm withdrawing here. Now some kits when you buy them come complete with these, and some don't. The ones I've got from David Silver Spares don't come with these emulsion tubes. But to be honest, there's not a lot of wear, although they are one of the main reasons that the carbs are a problem if these get blocked with gungy fuel, if they've been stood for a long time. So although I'm not replacing these, that's going to go in my sonic cleaner and be cleaned. So that is that part of the carburetor stripped down. There's also this air screw on the side on all the carburetors, so I'm going to whip that out as well. Now these take a bit of setting up, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see how far this one out is by screwing it in. So that's 180, one complete turn. Oh, that's one complete turn. So that one was set at one complete turn, so that's 180, 360. So I'll remember that. And again, I think this is one of the components that's in the kit, and it comes out with its spring. And yes, that part is also part of the kit with its spring. By the look of it, yep. So that's my air screw. Right, so far so good. So that's the bottom end of the carburetor undone. Now to remove the top part. I've actually loosened these before I started. Okay, so we need to get this assembly removed, and there's some little tangs on here which need to be folded down, or there's one certainly there, and for that I'm going to use my little screwdriver and just squeeze that tang over. I can't really do it on the camera, I'll just do it off camera and then you can see how that comes out. Yeah, so it's only soft brass, so that just pushes down with the screwdriver. That's it, and that enables you to get a 7mm socket on there. Right, this actual screw here goes into a hole on this shaft. So when you come to reassemble it, you don't need to worry about getting that balance right, because that actually goes into a screw in the shaft, as you'll see in a minute. Off that comes. Right, just checking this assembly here so you can see it. What it has is this activating arm, a washer, a bigger washer, a spring, a smaller washer, and then on the inside here there's a distance or spacer piece which I need to be careful of when I withdraw this, and that will just pop out there. And that's the assembly. As you can see, all the components there, and that shaft. See, it gets better against the blue. Okay, so that can go in there. Right, now then, we get this out. That simply lifts out like that. And the main body. This contains your needle and your slide. Just put that to one side. Right, now the tricky bit. Down in the bottom of this slide there are 2 screws to withdraw this assembly. There's no actual need to take this arm off to get to it if you've got a thin enough screwdriver, which I do. It's this one here, and well, you can probably see them better on this side, look. So those are the 2 ends of the screws poking through the bottom of that slide. So I'm going to undo these. Now there may be some cursing and swearing as I do this, because sometimes these can be a real pig to get undone. That one's undone, so that's great news. Not quite out. You can see how it's withdrawn from there. So that's that one out, and there's one on the other side too. And this one is usually a bit more problematic than the other one, to be honest, in my experience. It's just a case of getting this assembly out the way. Right. Right, that's great. These have both come out fine. The screws out. Right, to get this assembly out here, you just twist it half a turn until that little tang there matches the slide there, if that is clear. So that would go back in there and then turn to match. So half turn out, and there we are. That's another component for the parts. And out comes the needle. There's nothing special about that. So that's the disassembly procedure. There is this needle here, and I'll check that these are all the same in what position they are, and again we get a new one of these in the kit. So that's the disassembly procedure. Not too difficult. Now everything's going to get cleaned, and I'll start putting it back together. And then I've got 3 other carbs to do as well.